Hello everybody, this is Shadowbox and welcome back to Farming Simulator 19 here on Susquehanna River Valley. It is the first day of summer and our alfalfa is not ready to harvest. It is still growing nicely. It looks good. It will probably be ready in the fall, all things considered. Couple new changes to the farm. This is where we have our silo now. It's a nice... It is a multi-fruit setup. It's the small multi-fruit silo with some 5 small grain bin extensions. I just thought it looked cool like that. And since this is, it's kind of a large farm, but we kind of have a small farmyard, I decided to go with the small grain bins instead of the large ones. And it's a different grain bin for like every crop that we harvest in this area. I am soon going to retire these sheds and replace them with bulk storage. You can see we have our first bulk storage up here in the form of a lime silo. I did have to edit this, so I edited it so it holds 250,000 liters instead of the standard 100,000 liters, just because 100,000 liters wouldn't even take a whole load from our semi-truck. I also paved the whole farmyard. Of course, we still have some dirt around from the tractors and trucks and everything dragging it around. And probably the most significant change is, I gotta fix this road a little bit, is we got a second greenhouse in. This is a strawberry greenhouse. And it works exactly the same as the raspberry greenhouse. You put in water, manure, and seeds, and you get strawberries. Oh, I should... close these. The other one's probably open too. Now, actually, Sarah is driving our semi-truck up to the market as we speak. You can see she's almost there, so we'll have to head up there to unload here shortly. And she has a few pallets of raspberries and strawberries on board. You can see I came up with this solution for taking care of the chaff that is discarded out of these greenhouses. Though every time I start the game, I do have to get in them and turn them back on, and they dump into this IT runner silo here. I did change what trailer we use for the greenhouses to be an IT trailer, just for that purpose, and because I don't often use the IT trailers, so I thought it was a good excuse too. I'm also looking to trade in tractors and get newer ones. You can see we have $186,000 in the bank thanks to missions. We got a $95,000 contract by putting potatoes onto field 112. So that was really nice. And then we got quite a few like $30,000, $40,000 contracts for sowing and fertilizing here and there. You see, Mark is taking care of some contracts on 46 and 44. We actually had 50, 49, 48, 47, 45, 46, and 44 all have contracts available, so I just had him knock them out, and he's got 46 and 44 left. They were all between like $5,000 and $8,000, so that was a good chunk of change there. Let's talk about the tractors really quick before we switch over to Sarah to get that trailer unloaded. I did trade out, like I said, the Metal Tech trailer here for an IT runner trailer, and I took the 3-point link off of our International 1246 and put the standard weight on it, just because we're not using this for field work anymore, so we can just leave that weight on it. Guys, I think it's time that we retire our old trusty International 1046 with our front loader and everything on it. Notice I said retire and not sell. Sam is over here working on getting this ready to turn into like a display piece here on the farm. We're going to get it cleaned up, get the oil and gas drained out of it, transmission, fluid, all that kind of stuff taken care of. We're going to sell the front loader implements. She's going to put a new coat of paint on the tractor, and we're going to display it somewhere in the farm as a memory of our first tractors. Over here, our John Deere, this is our 44, no, this is our 4840. We have a 4440 floating around somewhere. Not quite sure where. That must be what Mark is using, is the 4440. I'm thinking I'm going to put these 2 John Deeres in storage, because I have some plans for them in the future, but they are starting to get a little bit small for the size equipment that I want to run on the farm. So that brings us to what tractors we're going to get next. If we go to medium tractors, I haven't totally decided, so please, if you guys have a tractor that you want to see on the farm, please let me know. I am looking in the 250 horsepower range. So, we have the Case Puma, and if we bump that up to the max, we can get 270 horsepower out of it, which is actually more powerful than our big case we have right now, but it's a modern tractor compared to one from like the 90s or 80s. So, yeah, I'm looking at the Puma. I'm also open to suggestions from John Deere, such as this 6R. It comes with standard 280 horsepower, which would be nice. Though I do have a tendency to lean toward case. Actually, scratch that. It's got to be a case tractor. I want, like I said, we're going to keep those John Deere tractors, and I have future plans for them, but I want this area up here to be run by primarily case equipment. I am looking at buying some more land, and we can run John Deere equipment over there. So, looking at the Puma, I'm also looking at right here. These are used Magnums, 2008 Magnum series. Actually, you know what? I might just go ahead and buy it. I didn't realize that a 2008 Magnum was going to be less than $100,000, and that's a lot of horsepower for it. This is a tractor off the Mod Hub. This is a 90s Magnum MX series. That's it is much cheaper, but it's a little bit older than what I want to get at this point of our farm. I think that's it for that. And then I was looking at large tractors. I was looking at the Optum, and if we scroll back into the modded area, I was looking at the Magnum US series. This is the one by Carl Farms, and this is like a brand new one. It's either like it's between 2018 and 2020. I don't remember which. So that's why it's $260,000. I would really like to get this just because it is like the latest and greatest, but I mean, that is really expensive. So we'll see. We'll see. We might end up buying a new tractor this episode. Not sure. But let's jump up and see. Sarah is here. And she is going to go ahead and get this stuff unloaded. I really wish this trailer had an auto-load script. It does not. I messaged 82 Studios on Facebook to see if they would consider putting auto-load on this trailer, since they did put it on their other 2 trailers for bales, just not for pallets. I thought maybe there's the opportunity, or the possibility that they would do that. They just have not got back to me yet. I'm sure they're very busy working on the new Phoenix wrecker that they're working on, which will be pretty sweet when that comes out. Alright, so we're just going to super strength these pallets off of here. Just because we don't have a forklift yet, and honestly a forklift isn't going to be able to get 90% of the pallets that are in this truck. I did forget, I am putting a stipulation or a restriction on how much product I can sell from the greenhouse per day. So the greenhouses are insanely overpowered, and they will produce like 20 pallets of these in a 24-hour period, and that is crazy. Especially since I am manually loading all of these pallets. If I had to load 40 pallets every single in-game day, I would probably go crazy. So I'm going to limit myself to 5 pallets from each greenhouse per day, for a total of 10 pallets to be delivered up here, and that'll be enough to keep our market running. This rule does not apply to our like $12,000. Not bad. This rule does not apply to the trees, the orchard trees, because there is only a certain amount that the farm shop can take at a time. So we're gonna just let the orchard trees produce as much as possible, and yeah, we'll just do it like that. Speaking of, this is the first day that the orchard trees are able to produce, so we won't have any product to sell from them until tomorrow. That will probably be the next video. We'll see. Or at least it'll be part of the next video. I'll show you the orchard trees if you're not familiar with the Global Company Productions trees. I downloaded a lot more Global Company Production stuff, like the barrels and pallets and stuff like that. I'm not sure if we'll get into them or not, but I just have them for the option of having them. We'll see. And once we get up here, we can have you... Oh, I overshot. Alright, there we go. Sarah's on her way back to the farm. Mark's doing well. Sam's still working. And the meat and potatoes of today's episode is getting the canola harvested because it is ready to go. I don't believe we have a good price for canola at the moment. Yeah, it's like basically as low as it gets. We're going to want to hang on to it until late fall or early winter. But that will be probably a nice amount of money coming out of there. Oh, if I'm converting this to an all-case farm, I'm going to need to get a new harvester too, aren't I? Oh, we'll see. We will see. Alright, our trusty John Deere 9500. Let's get this guy out into the field. First harvest of year 2. Obviously, we're going to have a lot more harvesting to do this year than we did last year. Which is exciting, because I feel like we didn't use this guy nearly to his full potential last year. We only harvested one wheat field, and we didn't even have any harvesting contracts, which was unfortunate, but, you know, it is what it is. Just moving the corn header out of the way. Oh, I did forget to say, since we are since we're retiring our our international harvester, what was it, 1040? I am going to be buying a new telehandler here soon. In fact, I should probably prioritize the telehandler over the new tractor, shouldn't I? Since we're not going to be able to work on our greenhouses otherwise. I was looking at a new seeder too. I think I'm going to use one from the Beauregard pack, which is a pack that I haven't really used much since I got it. Alright, we're going to have to go a long way around. This is just too big. It's actually a little bit smaller than the Great Plains seeder that we have now. The one I'm looking at is the 8-meter Beauregard seeder. But it is a direct drill. It does carry fertilizer, I believe. And it has a larger capacity than our current Great Plains seeder. So, yeah, I'm interested in using that. And also the Great Plains seeder, it has some weird behaviors about it. It will often just like change its I don't know, it like floats around in the storage shed. I will put it away perfectly straight, and then I'll come back and it's cockeyed at an angle. It's hard, like you can't drive when you're folding and unfolding it, which is probably realistic, but it is kind of inconvenient in Farming Simulator sometimes. So yeah, I'm thinking I'm just going to go ahead and replace it eventually. Alright, let's see what we can do on this field. This is field, need to refresh my memory, 57. What on earth would you be in traffic with? Where are you, Sarah? Oh, well, she's at the end here, so. Alright. Alright, take a lunch break really quick, Sarah, because you're going to be on grain bin duty here, or grain cart duty here in a minute. Let's go ahead and get this is field 54? I don't remember already. 57? Oh, well, we don't have the proper working width anyway. So let's go ahead and do course generation on 57. We are going to do, we'll do 3 headland passes in a clockwise formation. And let's bring this down just to 7 meters just so we don't miss anything. Or at least we shouldn't miss anything. And let's do that. Alright, I'll just go ahead and preemptively save this as field 57, 7 meters. Get this positioned so we can actually hit that first waypoint because it decided to put the first waypoint there instead of the way we were actually already facing. Alright, and let's start at the first waypoint. Now Sarah is going to... I don't think we need the Steiger for pulling these grain carts here. So we'll just head on up here and grab the 78, or sorry, the 4840. Oh, we probably don't even need these dual wheels on. Hopefully that won't cause any issues for us. I don't really want to take the time to take them off right now, especially because Sam is using the workshop. Alright, and let's just go ahead and close these doors. It shouldn't be too big of an issue, but... Come on, where's the trigger point? You have to get out of the way when you're closing those, let me tell you. Alright, we got our trailers, and we're actually less than a half a tank, so let's go ahead and refill at our diesel station here. Alright, there we go. Hopefully we can make this turn without going over the edge of the cliff there. Alright. Our harvester's already at 42% canola, but he is getting ready to turn, so we'll just wait and try to intercept when he's coming up the side here. Get our cover on our first trailer open. Alright, let's get up aside and start unloading this harvester. So guys, just yesterday I made a poll for the channel asking how you guys felt about seeing Flight Simulator, and I had a better than I expected response to it. The question, if you didn't see it, was asking if you would like to continue seeing Mondays being dedicated for Farming Simulator, or if you'd like to see Flight Simulator sometimes sprinkled in there. And 2/3 of you guys said that you want to keep Mondays for Farming Simulator, so that's what we're going to do at this point. That may change in the future depending on if what you guys want to see changes. However, that still leaves 1/3 of you who said you wanted to see some Flight Simulator in some fashion. So I am going to do occasional Flight Simulator videos, I think, but they're going to be in addition to, rather than instead of, Farming Simulator, and we'll see how I can cope with that much recording in a week. Now the flight simulator videos will not be weekly. I'm thinking maybe monthly for them, just because it was only a third of people even had any kind of interest in it. So and those videos, I used to do flight simulator videos. If you're a long-term subscriber to the channel, you probably remember that. That in fact, my channel was originally called A Shadowbox's FSX, and I had a different channel that was just called A Shadowbox for for Minecraft. And this channel grew exponentially faster than the other one, so I just rebranded this to A Shadowbox and completely abandoned the old A Shadowbox channel. Who can't talk today, apparently. That channel is still live on YouTube. If you want to go back and see some Minecraft videos I made when I was in high school, you could probably find it if you're dedicated, but I'm going to warn you, they're bad. They're like 20 FPS, recorded on a Gateway laptop, like, pretty bad. So no wonder this channel got more popular. I started this channel later, when I was in college, and actually had like a semi-decent gaming computer and started doing flight simulator and farming simulator videos. And how many of you remember my multiplayer series with Dr. Vesuvius in Farming Simulators 2013 and 15? Yeah, that's old reference. So I guess I should give you guys a firefighter story here, as we get ready to intercept our combine again. So this is an EMS story from when I was working fire EMS that day. We got called out to the middle school in our area for a kid in excited delirium. And this is probably one of the... it wasn't funny. So funny is not the right word. Bizarrest, strangest. It was kind of serious. Don't get me wrong, but it was just kind of unusual. Maybe not as unusual as the story I told last week, but still. So we get there, and it's this little 6th grader who's maybe 100 pounds soaking wet. They have him in the office, and he is just the gym teacher is there, the school resource officer is there. That's the police officer who's stationed in schools. If you're not from an area that has an SRO, you might not be familiar with that. Anyway, the SRO is there, the gym teacher's there, the assistant principal is there, and he is just going ballistic. They cannot hold him down. He's just going crazy. And the gym teacher says that he was in gym class, and he thinks he maybe ate something because he was kind of away from all the other students, and thinks maybe there was some mushrooms growing behind the field goal post or something, and maybe he's poisoned, or don't really know. But the moral of the story is, we arrived there with our 3-person ambulance crew. We called for assistance from another 2-person ambulance crew, and it took all 5 of us fire personnel, the school resource officer, the assistant principal, and the gym teacher to get this kid safely restrained on our ambulance cot and get him taken to the hospital. Unfortunately, I don't know anything about what was actually going on with that kid, unless we happen to go back to that hospital, or if the kid's parents were to write us a thank you card or something like that. We often don't get to know how our patients do after we drop them off due to HIPAA laws. So yeah, I have no idea. I would imagine he was okay. I mean, he wasn't in any kind of life-threatening distress as far as we could tell. He was just either having some kind of psychotic event, or maybe on some kind of drugs or something. But man, he was 11 years old, 100 pounds soaking wet, and it took 8 fully grown adults to get him restrained on the cot. They tried giving him, I think, some Versed, and that didn't even touch him. I think they ended up having to give him, like, medicate him with ketamine as well in order to get him sedated enough to be transported without causing further distress. So when we're transporting someone like that, our number one priority is safety, and our number two priority is comfort. So we want to make sure that the situation is safe for everybody involved, and if that means restraining the patient, then we need to restrain the patient. So we ended up tying this kid's arms and legs, like, down to the cot so he wouldn't, like, fall off or try to hurt one of us or anything. And then once he was safely secured on the cot where he couldn't hurt himself or couldn't hurt anybody else, we wanted to make the situation as how do I want to phrase this? As least distressing as possible. We do care about stuff like that. We don't do things like that lightly. That's a very serious thing to forcibly restrict someone's movement like that, especially when, you know, it's different for the police because they're doing it to people who have committed a crime, you know, assuming that everything is in the right and everything like that. I mean, yeah, there are bad police officers out there, but we're not going to get into that. That is outside the scope of this channel. You know, assuming everything is happening the way it should, you know, the police are restraining somebody who has committed a crime or is a danger to someone else and, like, has to be at least temporarily removed from society. The fire department only ever restrains somebody when there is an immediate threat to safety, whether it's their own safety or somebody else's safety. And it's not something that we do lightly. It's distressing for everybody involved, and especially when it's a kid. You don't want to have to do something like that to a kid, but there was no other option with this guy. So yeah, that's today's story. Just another bizarre thing that I've seen in my career. I wouldn't say it was particularly cheerful or funny or anything, but you know, that kind of stuff does happen. It's probably one of the most memorable calls that I've ever had, for sure. So yeah, that's that. I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of this field harvested. Probably both of these fields harvested, actually. And I will see you guys when they're done. I don't think I'm going to time-lapse these, because we've done harvest time-lapses before. I think we'll just go ahead and do a cut, or maybe I'll put in some glamour shots or something to that effect. But either way, you guys aren't going to be here to hear me talk, so I'll see you on the other side. Alright guys, just a little update as we finish the first field here. I think I've decided I'm not going to time-lapse this or anything. We'll see. We have nearly filled the first tipper in our little road train there. I mean, it's not really a road train, but yeah, which is pretty good for canola. I didn't expect to get that good of a yield off of it. You know, when you consider that our soil is only supposed to give us like an 80% yield or something like that, I was expecting quite a bit less than that. So pleasantly surprised. Let's go ahead and let's bring our pipe in, and let's get this course set up. And I will see you when the second field is done. Shouldn't take too long. All right, guys. So just wanted to demonstrate what I was talking about with this Great Plains seeder. Mark just finished the contract on 46, and he's repositioning to 44 here. If I were to unfold the seeder, it like drops to the ground like that, and swings around and stops you from moving until everything's in line. Which, like I said, might be realistic, but in the context of the game, it is a little bit annoying. So, thinking about replacing it. Anyway, I'll see you when the canola harvest is done. Alright guys, I brought you back a bit early because I actually have to wrap up this session before this gaming session, before this harvest is done. So I just wanted to show you that I retasked Sam from taking care of the old International 1046 into getting this field that we just harvested cultivated. And the reason I did that is in our crop rotation, corn is next for these fields, and if we look at the seasons map, corn is able to be planted in early summer for harvest in the late fall or winter. Because of how we changed our crop rotation, this is the only year that we're going to be able to take advantage of this, because we're not going to be able to plant winter canola anymore. So yeah, I decided that we're going to go ahead and try to get that in. In addition, I decided to hold off on buying the case tractor because I wanted to ask you guys. Well, first of all, credit where credit is due. I got this idea from Farmer Cop. If you are not familiar with the Farmer Cop channel, there will be a link in the description below. He is a fantastic farming simulator channel, really loves and interacts with his community. It's probably my new favorite channel personally. So if you're not familiar with the Farmer Cop channel, definitely go check it out. And I got this idea from his No Man's Land Season 2. In his series, Farmer Cop says that he is quote-unquote sponsored by Case IH to have an all-case farm. And for Farmer Cop, remember this is all in roleplay, Case gave his farm $1 million in order to basically only purchase Case IH equipment, not use any other equipment. Now, I was planning on making this farm Case IH before that episode aired, so yeah, but I'm thinking we could do like a role play of it, kind of like what Farmer Cop is doing. So why don't we say that Case IH is willing to give me a 10% discount on all Case IH purchases, and in addition a one-time voucher of $100,000. So that is Case IH's offer for me making my farm entirely Case IH. If you would like to see a different brand on my farm, please let me know what that offer might be. I would entertain offers from New Holland, from John Deere, from Klaas, or Massey Ferguson. So if you want to see one of those brands on there, let me know what you think that brand would offer me in exchange for using only their equipment on my farm. Until next time, guys, though, jumped the gun a little bit there. We've run out of time today, though, so until next time, I am Shadowbox. This has been Farming Simulator 19 on the Susquehanna River Valley map. I will see you next day. Thanks for tuning in, and have a good one.